By the way, NASDAQ is hitting session lows at the moment. It is down 176 points, about 1.6%. We should look at Amazon shares. They're on your screen right now, down about 1.7% as the e-commerce giant kicks off its first ever Prime early access sale. Yes, very early for the holidays. Amazon's offering mega discounts on big ticket items from Peloton bikes to 23andMe. DNA test kits, the Google Pixel 6 phone, and even discounts, yes, on Apple prices. Imagine that. But who's doing whom the favor here? It's not exactly a stretch for Amazon to give these big discounts, considering it is one of the many retail giants literally drowning in a glut of inventory. As of July, U.S. retailers have been shouldering a record $732 billion in inventory. That's a 21% increase year over year. Will Amazon's effort help the company get rid of its overstock? And what can investors deduce from Amazon sales today and tomorrow about hot holiday trends and the companies and stocks behind the trends? Klover, this is a free financial services platform, is live tracking the two-day sale through its customers, who agree to give Klover access to analyze their purchasing and spending data in exchange for things like money management services. Klover CEO Brian Mandelbaum, we've torn you away from your computers. He's joining me right now in a Fox Business exclusive. Brian, as I understand, you got real-time data coming in from your customers second by second. Is that true?
We've got over 3.5 million consumers that are sharing real-time data into shopping, commerce transactions, their financial health, second by second, minute by minute. We were refreshing it real-time with our team earlier this afternoon, and the data is really clear. Consumers are cautious as they head into the holiday season. It's actually really remarkable. We're looking at the data, and what we're seeing, just as we're about 15 hours into a two-day Prime event, we're seeing transaction volume and frequency and spend down 30 to 40%. That is a stunning number.
So down from what? Regular Prime Day? Can we make a comparison?
From the July Prime Day that we just had 2 months ago, the transaction size and frequency is down 30 to 40%. Transactions are down from a frequency perspective, 30%. The spend, the ticket, what they are spending on is down 40%. These are astonishing numbers.
Again, you are coming from a pool, you're culling this from a pool of 3 to 4 million of your customers right now who have enabled you to peer in and see not only what they're buying, but how much they are spending. This almost feels to me, Brian, like a canary in a coal mine for the health of the consumer. If you could write a headline from what you're seeing right now on this second-by-second data out of the early Prime Day, what would that be?
The big headline for you is this new Prime Day that Amazon is establishing is not moving the needle when it comes to driving incremental sales for Amazon. As it stands, that is the early read, and we are calling it now. That's what we're seeing. Tomorrow may be a different story as momentum picks up, but the reality is it is not moving the needle.
Okay, what are people buying right now? Can you give us brands? Can you give us areas and regions of purchases?
Yeah, so it depends on the demography of the consumer, but the things that are moving right now are the typical Amazon branded products, the Ring cameras, the Ring doorbells. We're seeing a huge volume of Amazon Echo and Dots moving off the shelves, but that's really the bulk of it. What you mentioned earlier around Peloton or 23andMe, we're not seeing a huge uptick when it comes to that right now.
Okay, so the Ring, the Nest, the Dot VO. What about things like clothing, apparel, or does that send a message to you, what you are seeing at the moment, second by second in your data, that inflation is really forcing people to think twice, 3 times about spending even a couple of bucks on Amazon where things are so much cheaper?
Oh, here's the stunning stat. We polled our consumers in real time today as we saw the numbers coming in, and 50% of consumers said that they are reluctant to spend any money coming into the holiday season. They are either doing 2 things. One, they are waiting for more sales as it enters Cyber Monday or Black Friday, or they are planning on spending less. And the reasons that they're giving us is because they have less to spend. Think about how stretched the consumer has been over the past few months or almost a year. The inflation is rising. They are spending more money on gas and utilities, And what they are noticing is that they don't have as much discretionary spending as they once did, especially the consumers that are on a budget.
Brian, Amazon's not the only one. Walmart is taking on Amazon for the next 2 days. It, too, is having a whole bunch of specials. Target has already done it. Best Buy has TVs, Apple laptops on sale for the next 2 days. So this almost, I don't know, can I say it smells of desperation for these companies that are really trying to move inventory because they're drowning in a glut of it?
They are drowning in a glut, and more importantly, they are not changing consumer behavior. This whole notion of, can we move the Black Friday or Cyber Monday initiative much earlier, prior to Halloween? We haven't even gotten over the hump of Halloween and all of those sales. To think that the retailers are going to drive that incremental value ahead of when consumers are in the mindset isn't really going to produce the revenue that they thought they were. More importantly, we are seeing that consumers have already started to spend on holiday anyway if they're going to. So spending is resilient. No question, the consumers are spending.
Okay.
But they're not buying the whole, we're going to get a deal and a sale to move inventory coming into the holiday season.
Well, that is the hot holiday habit, which sounds to me like people are keeping their hand off the credit card at the moment. But we'll continue to watch it. Keep us posted on your second-by-second data that's coming through on Klover with a K. Brian Mandelbaum, thank you. Great to see you.
Great to see you, Liz. Thanks.